Hi guys, we're live with Talia Wolf. My name is Alexandru Golub, and this is the third edition of International Ecommerce Day. First, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We are very excited to bring you this incredible lineup, and we want to thank our partners, GetResponse, for their support. Now, Talia, welcome. We have you on screen. I know for sure that you're going to talk about the holy grail of e-commerce optimization and how to create highly converting product pages. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Awesome. Is everybody ready? Can you type in the chat box, I'm ready? Yes. You just type, I'm ready.
I've seen Cosmin in every single event. Like, I've been watching everyone, and like, you've been commenting the most. That deserves a prize, by the way. So yeah, awesome. Born ready. Okay, cool.
So I'm just going to focus your PowerPoint presentation, and Talia, you have the mic. Wait.
Okay.
You just destroyed the internet.
Okay, can you see my screen well?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well guys, so yes, as Alex mentioned, I'm going to be talking about product pages today. For those of you who may follow me or know much about me, I usually talk about emotional targeting. I talk about consumer psychology. That's my main thing. So I'm still going to be talking about that, but I want to take it into a direction of specific pages. The reason for that is whenever I work with any clients in e-commerce, the first thing they ask me to do is work on their homepage, because that's usually where most of the traffic comes from. Most basically the people come in to their homepage, and the problem with that is that you have the challenge of appealing to everyone who's coming from all sorts of different traffic sources, and everyone's appealing to different sorts of products. Now, while the homepage...
Sorry for interrupting. Did you change slides?
Not yet.
Okay, I am so sorry. I was just making sure. Please continue.
Fine. No problem. I'm about to change the slide in 1 second. So while the homepage actually may attract a lot of traffic, that's actually not the case when it comes to conversions. In fact, the average conversion rate of shoppers landing on the homepage is less than 2.5 seconds. Can you guys see that I changed the slide? Hello?
I was saying yes like 5 times, and then I realized that my mic was off. I was like, yes, Talia.
Okay. Okay, so a recent study shows that the average conversion rate of shoppers landing on your homepage is less than 2.5%. This is significantly lower than shoppers who land on individual product pages. In fact, during, I think it was 2016, we consistently observed more and more shoppers skipping the front door, also known as the homepage, and landing directly on product pages. Now, this is happening because of the long tail search that people are performing. It's because of dedicated posts or ads on social media for specific products. It's basically traffic that's going immediately to a specific product and rather than the homepage. And that's why the average conversion rate from a product page is actually 7.9%. So those who land on specific product pages have far more likely to convert. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't optimize your homepage. You definitely should. But what I'm saying is that this is a bit of a wake-up call to put more emphasis on optimizing your product page and perhaps spending more time on promoting specific products versus the entire site. You see, the intent of a visitor that lands on a specific product page is usually higher than those on a homepage. And because basically when we come to a homepage, we might be looking for specific things. We might not be aware of what we're looking for. But when we land on a specific product page, we know what we're looking for. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to discuss all the ways you can optimize your product pages and increase your conversion rates. So let's take a look at some of the most important elements that each product page should optimize for. So most importantly for me is content strategy optimization. Unfortunately, more often than not, the funnel hasn't been designed with the customer in mind. And I want you guys to think about your shops, because in fact, most sales funnels actually revolve around the business's goals rather than the customer's goals. From ad to product page to checkout to confirmation email, too many marketers and businesses are making the online experience about them instead of the people actually doing the buying. And this is why the most important part of optimizing your product page is actually designing an experience for your customers' needs. So with everything that I'm going to be talking about today with a product page, it's all going to be from the eye of understanding what your customers are looking for and how you can create a better experience for them, not for you. Now, in order to know your customers' needs, you need to understand how we make decisions, how people make decisions. And why is that? Because the route to every conversion is our decision-making process. If we understand how our customers make a decision, what matters to her, what her desires are, we can help her. And if we help her, we're essentially helping ourselves, because she will find what she's looking for, her challenge will be met, and she'll be able to check out peacefully. And if she's checking out, then great, our goal has been completed. Now, the first thing we need to know when we're figuring out what our customer wants is that this is not how people make a purchase decision. This is how we think. Whenever I ask marketers or anyone, how does your customer make a purchase decision? I get a list of a long kind of all sorts of things that people do. We have this idea in our head that our customer arrives on a store and immediately starts thinking about all the benefits and features and pricing and the technical stuff. But unfortunately, this isn't true. This is actually how we buy. We buy on emotion. Everything we buy in life has an emotional reason to it. We have a challenge and we look to solve it. Now, as I was saying before, those of you who've tuned in during the last e-commerce day have probably seen me say this before, but this isn't what your business makes. You're not selling a product. This is an awesome person who can do rad shit. See, whether if it's to find something to wear for a date, or if it's to decorate our own home, or to find a good alarm clock, we're not buying products. We're buying higher self-esteem. We're buying some sort of an emotion. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. We want to feel successful. And the thing is that only once we understand what our customers are looking for, can we then provide better copy, images, and an entire experience. So essentially what I'm saying, guys, is that it's not enough to talk about yourself. You have to talk about the customer. And why does this even matter to you? Because here are the 3 top influences on consumers' decisions on e-commerce. Number 2 is reviews, and number 3 is the price. But the number 1 thing that indicates and helps people make a decision is actually detailed product descriptions. This is a research by Shop Farm that found that poor or missing content on product pages can affect sales, brand trust levels, and even retention rates. This is all to do with the fact that we read these descriptions and they help us come to a decision. Now, what does this have to do with your customers' emotions? Well, it turns out that most of the content on websites and descriptions are all about the business, about the product itself. They're focusing on the product. Features, pricing, technical information. It's meant to sell you on a specific product, while the shoppers are actually looking for value and what's in it for them. So what most product overviews and information is about is like the product itself and how good it is, or what material it's made out of, and how quick it's going to arrive at your house, the best features that it has, instead of, hey, this is how this is going to make your life better. This is how you're going to be a better manager, a better father. This is how you're going to feel more safe. How will this product make how will this product make a meaningful impact on their life? And this is what your product descriptions should actually include. So I'm going to give you a few examples. And this is the first tip. So you want to add personalized comments and suggestions for your product. So examples could be, this dress goes great with black sandals or blue navy high heels. It doesn't need to be something that you're selling. This isn't, you may also like. This is in a description telling you, hey, you can use this product in this way. Or grandmothers love these as a birthday present. Or another favorite one of mine, stand out and feel the difference with these new kicks. It's all about what will happen to you, the value that you get by buying this product. You will stand out. You'll feel the difference. Your grandmother will love her birthday present. You can wear it with this and this and this, or you can match it with this wine, or whatever the suggestion is. But it's making it about the customer and how they're going to use it and how it's going to help them. So you want to add personal comments and suggestions. And here's a cool hack that I actually picked up from Joanna Weeb for finding what customers care about the most. Competitor research. Now, just to mention, I'm not saying you should be copying your competitors. That is by far the worst thing you can do. What I actually want you to do is look at customer reviews, okay? Check out your competitors' product reviews to see what people are concerned about, what they're happy about, what they're excited about, and make sure to address those concerns and desires in your product descriptions. So for example, I've bought in a few things from Amazon here, and it's a dog collar that is being sold in Amazon. And I've kind of highlighted all the things that people are saying that they care about. So one person is saying that they don't have any street lights, and the other person is saying that it helps them feel better. And the other, and it was also saying that they wasn't really sure how durable the product is. And another person was saying, hey, this product makes me feel safer. Now, all these things that I've highlighted are things that you can mention in your description, which is more personalized to what these people care about. They care about feeling safe. They care about knowing that it's durable. They care about their dog being safe, and they can use that in product descriptions. Now, one other important tip with product descriptions and overviews is drop-down menus and tabs or divs. To reduce cognitive load, we are overwhelmed with information, and we're essentially looking for people to tell us what to do. It's not enough to just throw a bunch of text on your product page and then hope that someone will read it. I would consider having the information in drop-down menus, in tabs, or in divs. And this allows you to write more content also, so you can put a lot more emphasis on it. And you can see an example here by Dove. So here, this is how it looks closed, and this is how it looks open. Wait. Oops, let's see. That went back. Okay, closed and open. So essentially, our goal is to help people consume the content in a better way. And in order for them to take this in, you can also do bullet points if you don't want to do it in a tab. Just make the content in a way that people can read it and digest it, because when there's so much content everywhere, it's very hard to read. So that was our first tip. It was all about product description optimization. You want to make it about the customer, and you want to think about reducing cognitive load. The second tip is about image optimization. So humans respond to and process visuals better than any other type of data. Here's a few facts. The human brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. 90% of information transmitted to our brain is visual. It takes just 150 milliseconds to process a symbol and only 100 milliseconds to attach a meaning to it. All this data is important because our brains are overloaded with information and messages. In fact, I read in an article where we see between 4,000 and 10,000 messages a day. People texting us, calling us, ads everywhere. Everyone's trying to grab our attention. And visuals help us analyze context better. So the way things are presented to us have a huge effect on our decision-making process. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to optimize those images on your product pages. So the first thing I want you to do is, other than showcasing the actual product, I want you to add an image of what it looks like in its surroundings. Someone using it, wearing it. It's going to help the person see what the end result looks like. It helps them see themselves using or wearing these products and gives them a sense of what the final product will look like for them. Now, these type of images also provide more clarity in terms of size. So if you're selling frames or stickers, placing them around other objects like this sofa here in the example helps people understand the true size of the product. So this is, if you, I've kind of highlighted it here in green. You can see there's the image of the sticker itself, but also there's different images of how it looks like in a living room itself. And this really helps customers understand where it fits in and the size itself. Another cool thing you can do is introduce white space. White space helps the eye focus on the important elements and it eliminates any distractions you may have on the page. So I would definitely add a lot more white space. And what I like about this website is that they actually just removed the borders completely from the image. So while we're usually used to seeing these borders around them and images below, they've removed it completely, making it much more clear, and have reduced all the noise and complexity that could be from an image. And especially if you guys are selling a complex product, something with a lot of detail to it, it's good to remove as much noise as possible. So that's one thing. And the last thing with images is introducing, of course, a zoom feature. This is incredibly important if you want people to be able to see what the product looks like up front. And it really does make a lot of sense to introduce that. It's a really easy plugin to add to your website. Number 3, we want to optimize sizing tables. Now, when it comes to purchasing products by size and a certain fit, many people fear that ordering the wrong size, or basically we're worried that we're going to order something, pay for something, and it's not going to fit. And they don't know what it's going to look on them. So I want to show you an example of my favorite website and how they do it. And it really is fantastic. This is by Busted Tees. So what they do is they allow you to find a person who has a similar type body to yours. And then when you click on it, it shows you the different types of sizes that you could get for this person. So it really is a cool way to see how you can show sizes without confusing people. It really is a cool way to just kind of give people the option to choose a person that looks like them and further better understand what it's going to look like on them. Okay, let's move on to the 4th tip, and that's personalization via localization. So most e-commerce sites have shoppers from all over the world. And then the problem with that is that when the shipping is going to cost, what is it in their own currency? And since our brains are overloaded with information, our goal as optimizers is to reduce that amount of choice as shoppers. We just want to make them have the least amount of choices as possible. And we can do that by actually using the location. So here's a few things. One thing is offering a currency converter. Just ask them, what currency would you like to see? It's simple. It's a plugin. Etsy uses it. I think Macy's uses it. And you ask them what their preferable currency is by adding a simple plugin. I've done this with countless clients of ours, and it's increased conversion rates a lot. Another option for you to do is talk about shipping. Now, there's nothing worse than clicking that buy button and then discovering that the shipping costs more than the product itself. For those of you who don't live in the United States, that actually happens quite a bit. Now, Amazon has a 2-day free shipping thing going on, which is, it's raised the bar really high for many e-commerce stores. Now, while obviously the best way to go is to have free shipping, not everyone can do that. So there are 2 ways you can tackle shipping. One is by creating the same shipping price for all customers. So wherever you are in the world, there's just a set price, and that reduces all the friction and the need to choose a type of shipping. And the other one is actually adding a shipping calculator by zip code. So on the product itself, you allow people to put in their zip code and the country, and it tells them exactly how much it's going to cost them in the product page. You don't wait for them to get to the checkout to then find out. And the other thing that I love doing with localization is giving them the estimated time of arrival. I've done this with quite a few sites. It's shown phenomenal results. It's a great way to address any concerns a shopper may have about delivery. And you can see here that Zappos are doing a really good job because they're using urgency. So they say order within 8 hours and 22 minutes to get this by January 17th. So what they're doing is they're promising a specific date you're going to get the product, so to reduce that stress. But they're also kind of using urgency to tell you, hey, if you want to get this by this date, then you better order now. Tip number 5 is about optimizing calls to action. The call to action buttons on product pages have a large influence on the product success. This isn't a matter of what color the button is, it's the location on the page, and most importantly, the copy. Now, while most online shops settle for the buy now button or add to cart button, I actually have a few other Don't say add to cart.
Talia,
yeah.
Sorry, we lost you a little bit. So can you go back one slide and start from there?
I can. Or calls to action?
Yeah, you had your tip. You said that you have a tip, and then we lost you.
What I'm saying is that the copy is really important, and I'm going to show you 4 rules for calls to actions, for good calls to action. So the number one rule, is to have one goal. Ask for one thing only. You can say add to cart, you can say checkout, but don't say add to cart and checkout. Then you have make them attention grabbing. So obviously you want to use color, size, white space, and placement on the page. Just make the calls to action clear, and they need to be the first thing that people see on the page. Now you also want to make them actionable, so driving people to take an action, and you want to state the bottom line. Let people know exactly what's going to happen once they click that button. So what I've done is I've actually created 3 call to action formulas for you that you can follow. So you can just copy and use them immediately. It's 3 formulas of how the best converting calls to action you can use on your buttons. So the first formula is called what and why. Essentially what it means is I'd like to what because I want to why. So examples are, I want to donate now to save a hungry child. It's all about I want to buy now and save 20%. I can't see that. Ah, there it is. So again, it's what and why. What would you like to do and why? This is the customer talking about themselves. The second formula is I want to, said by the prospect about herself too. So I want to get this deal, or I want to add this to my cart. This is all about the prospect talking to themselves. And the third one is the prospect talking to you. I want you to do something. I want you to show me the latest deals. I want you to take me to the checkout. So those are 3 formulas you can just go ahead and use for any button that you have on landing pages, product pages, homepage, anything. You can use these 3 formulas that will help you write better converting calls to action. Tip number 6 is about trust. People buy from people they trust. It doesn't have to be someone they necessarily know personally. It could be an authority figure. It could be someone they want to be like. But the bottom line is that in order to get people to spend money on your site, you need to make them feel safe and secure. So here are 3 ways you can increase trust on your product pages and put shoppers at ease. Number 1 is reviews, obviously. If you don't have them yet, you should get people to leave reviews on your product pages. But here's an important tip about reviews. Don't be afraid to feature negative reviews, complaints. I know it's hard and most people prefer to only show the good stuff, but not all products can be perfect. And featuring these reviews with minor complaints and minor negative reviews can actually increase trust and authenticity even more, because it makes you seem a lot more trustworthy. So we talked about reviews, and we've got a few options here. So here's a review that we got. And then another way you can use is actually trust seals. So trust seals is a really cool way to just increase trust. And you're basically showing well-known brands who are using your product like this. And it gives a lot of people the option to feel safe. So you can either use the accreditations that you have, the awards that you've won, or you can even use the specific clients that you have, or just the different types of payment that you have, and how safe you are and secure. And the third way to increase trust is actually by chat. So how helpful are you? You need to make sure that you help your shoppers at every step of the way. And I've seen that when you add a chat to product pages, it really does increase conversion rates, because you're helping people at the time that they need it. So I definitely consider adding a chat plugin to your site, and basically supplying an easy way for people to contact you while they're shopping and address their immediate questions. Now, tip number 7 is actually about the power of save for later. I know that we all want our customers to immediately convert, and we want everyone to just click on that buy button. But unfortunately, that isn't always the case. And this actually happens a lot when people are on mobile. They start their process on mobile, they take interest, but they don't convert. So you can do this, and you can actually take a really good thing and make it out to a good thing. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. What you can do is use email marketing. Now, email marketing continues to be the largest channel for driving most e-commerce purchases. Okay, this is huge. This should be your #1 tool for retention and fast conversions. By simply adding a like button to your product page, you're allowing people to save an item. But to save an item, they actually have to sign up to your website. They have to subscribe to your website. And that means you've collected their email. And that means that you can send them personalized email reminders and other types of emails to get them to come back. So add a save for later button or a like button so that people can save and have a wish list. The 8th tip, and this is the last tip for the product pages right now, is optimizing with Persuasion. As I mentioned, we're overloaded with information on most of the time. Our brains are affected by how things are presented to us, and only then later we'll find different logical explanations to rationalize those decisions. So I'm going to show you a few ways you can use Persuasion on your specific product page. So the first one is actually something that we started discussing before, and that's scarcity and urgency. Two very well-known techniques, and we've used them many times, are scarcity and urgency. And an example for using these techniques would be adding time-sensitive deals to a certain product. So for example, sales end tonight at midnight, or there's only 3 items left. We can see this on many various different product pages that are using this kind of technique. This is from Busted Tees and Boohoo. Essentially, at the end of the day, when we're buying something, we need someone to guide us and tell us what to do. And when it comes to scarcity and urgency, we tend to be affected by it. When someone tells us that there's only a last item left, we tend to worry about it and actually buy it. That's why companies do sales for only specific amount of time and days. So that's one way. Now, the thing is that there are hundreds of different biases that affect our decision-making process, and we're not aware of them. So I'm not going to get into all of them because there's hundreds of them that affect our decision-making. But what I've done is I've created a list for you guys, a complete guide on different psychological triggers that you can use. And it includes how the bias works and how you can use it to increase conversions, and all sorts of case studies. So you can grab the link later on and check it out and then see how you can use that. The last part I want to talk about with persuasion is color psychology. This is something that really is at the heart of the things that I do at GetUplift. And it really is frustrating for me because everyone loves to talk and write about color psychology. And the problem with color psychology is that everyone's doing it wrong. So often the discussion around color psychology ends up being like quick, simple tactics to get people to convert faster. But it is far more complicated than that. While most of the conversation with color revolves around red equals anger and blue equals trust, colors actually affect people in many different ways. And unfortunately, one color does not have the same meaning or effect on every single person in the world. So blue doesn't mean trust for everyone in the world. In fact, we're actually affected by colors on 3 different levels: emotion, symbolism, and experience. Emotion is the things that we have, the way we see things, how we experience the stuff. And symbols is something like, I see yellow, so it symbolizes the sun, or I see blue and it symbolizes the sea. But for someone else around the globe, it could symbolize something different. Now, with experience, it's a lot about the culture of someone. So, for example, while in some countries the color white, in the Western, I'd say more in the Western world, white is kind of worn by brides and it's a sign of purity and it's worn on celebrated days. In the East, white actually symbolizes death. So you really have to know your target audience before you use color psychology just because you read somewhere that green means health. You need to understand what colors affect each of your target audience. So first, go into the data, understand where these people are from, what are their emotional motivations, what kind of symbols they can have, and then you can apply the right color. Because if you're using the wrong color, you can actually turn people away from you and reduce conversions. So you definitely need to get to know your customers better. And this is another place where you can get a bit more information on how to use color psychology the right way and choose the right colors for your audience. So you can check that out later too. Okay, so when you're ready to tackle your next optimization process, I want you to make sure that you're not just optimizing the homepage, but that you're putting a lot more emphasis on optimizing your product pages. I want you to remember that your customers aren't devices or browsers or geographical location. This is something that I see countless times. The biggest issue that we have today isn't the tools that we're using or the budgets that you have. It's marketers and how they treat their customers. They forget that behind the screens, there are people with challenges that expect you to solve them. If you help your customers achieve their goals, you will achieve your own. And that will mean that they won't race for the back button and you'll be able to increase conversions. Or as Steve Jobs once said, start with the customer experience and work backwards. So constantly think about your customer and how you can make their purchasing decision easier. Understand what influences your customers to make those decisions and how you can create a better experience for them. So I do hope that I was able in that short amount of time to kind of give you a bit more information about product pages and how the huge potential that you have in using them. If you want more resources, then everything I mentioned, all the links, all the research and everything is at that link over there. And if you want to read more about product pages, you can check that out. I think that's enough. And if anyone has any questions, I'm open to them now, I think. Yeah.
Perfect timing. Okay, so we're back on screen. Can you hear us, Talia? I think we lost Talia. Talia's back again.
Nope. Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, perfect. We can hear you. And we can.
Hi.
Yeah, at least we can hear you. Perfect. Okay, so we have one question that many people addressed is how can you fit all the text in a button? If you can remember, you had like 3 formulas for buttons. How can you fit all that text in just a button?
Oh, this is actually a really easy answer. You just fit it in. So I know that marketers and every blog post you read loves to say, reduce the amount of text, only use 2 words, or people don't read people do read. People need a reason to read. You can have 3, 4, 5, and sometimes even 6 words on your call to action button. A cool way to actually do it is have the main call to action. So I want to buy this now, and below why. You can put the actual reason for buying the product below the button itself. So there's no reason to think that you can only have 1 word or 2 words on your call to action button. I actually think you should test it, because you can do some great work by writing a lot more text, especially with product descriptions and stuff like that.
Okay, and there is another question related to this one. What is your opinion on having the main copy in call to action and then use a secondary line like no credit card required with the same call to action? As an example, I want to get my free quote, no credit card required.
Right.
If you want, you can read it below.
Yeah, so I think that adding a sentence below is a great way to add additional text to your call to action button. Specifically, I think that it really depends on what awareness level the buyer is at. When you're asking someone to enter their credit card details, you want to make sure that this person is product aware and is ready to buy your product. Many times the call to action has to be a bit different to send them to do something else rather than actually buying something. So when you say something like no credit card required, you might actually create some tension there and stress that wasn't there before. So you have to constantly kind of think about what you're saying and how you're going to affect someone emotionally when you write that on your call to action button. But that is a great way of tackling it, and I do that a lot. I'll have the main call to action on the button, and below it, I will have a lot more information about what it is you can do, and
awesome.
Any kind of concerns reducing.
Great answer, thank you. And there is Mike who's asking, are different traffic sources affecting people as an user experience on the website? So he posted a long question like how to find traffic sources affect what people are looking for on a product page. Users coming from organically are inherently higher motivation than paid social. Yeah. Okay, so organic people are higher motivated than paid social. Do they look different? Do they look for different things in your opinion?
Yeah, definitely. So it's actually pretty simple to know. You can look at the keywords of what people are looking for to get to your website. There are different stages of awareness. When someone's actively looking for you and they look for your brand name and they arrive on your website, you know that they are aware of your solution and they're looking to buy something from you. If someone's searching for how do I fix my iPhone and land on your website, or where can I buy the latest Galaxy, then you know that they're not necessarily aware of you, but they are aware of the fact that you can buy this somewhere and you happen to be in the search results. When someone is targeted by an ad, they are being targeted. They won't necessarily looking for something right then. So usually when you're doing ads, you're kind of trying to create and show people the pain that they're experiencing. So when I'm talking about like social ads, and when you're talking about Google search, you're mainly trying to show people that they might have a pain they're not aware of, or that you know that they have a pain and they should start looking for a solution. When you're looking at traffic that's coming from organic traffic and search traffic that's actually people searching for it, then obviously the demand is going to be higher. And then you have to adapt your content towards that. If you have more people arriving from ads, then you need to consider the fact that these people might not be ready to purchase something yet. And you might need to adapt your copy and your images and everything around it towards that specific awareness type.
Awesome answer. And it's so easy to forget this. I mean, like everybody kind of knows it, but because now you mention it, now you're going to be aware. Now we're going to do like the good marketing stuff. And the last question is from Samantha. I was just about to read your question, and then Samantha, you just posted it here in the comment section. How do you mimic your visitors' natural language? Is it by reviews mining?
Oh, I love that question. There are 3 ways to do it. Okay, so 1, I showed you doing the competitor research where you're looking at the product reviews. Check those out because people are writing in their own language what their concerns are. You should use those quotes. You should use that exact language. The other ways are customer surveys, customer interviews, and staff interviews. You want to do all of those free. The idea is that you're interviewing your customers to understand their pain points. And what's really good about this is that you can use their words. You don't have to come up with new cool meanings and copy, because they're giving you the copy, your customers themselves. They're going to tell you what their concerns are, and you can use that in your copy itself. Or they're going to tell you, wow, I was looking for someone to make me feel safe, and this made me feel safe. So you're going to use that. And what's really cool about this is you can ask them about their concerns. You can ask them, you know, what were you worried about before you're purchasing? And then you can use that as a testimonial. You can say to them, okay, so you were worried about this before. You found the solution. How do you feel about it now? Perfect. Can I use that as a quote? Because now you have an exact quote. You're not just putting...
I think we lost her again. Yes.
Concerns. So yes, reviews, customer interviews. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I know that you have to move on to the next person. Customer reviews and customer interviews, and talk to your staff too, to see what they're doing and how they see the product itself, because you're going to find real weird things between what your staff is saying about your product and what your customers are saying about the product.
Okay, that's an interesting point of view. Well, Talia, I think that we can't see you, but if you could see you would see your lovely smile. And thank you for participating. There it is. We heard it, but we didn't see it probably.
Thank you very much, guys. If you have any questions, just follow me on Twitter and I'd be happy to answer. It's Talia GW. And I'm going to post all the links in the chat now.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and bye. See you in the next session.